Welcome back to the Mythology Godcast, where legends are not only told, but tested. In the last tale, Zeus and Odin clashed in storms of power and pride. Tonight, two champions step forward. Not kings, not rulers, but warriors whose strength has echoed through the ages. From the halls of Asgard, the Thunderer, the Hammer-bearer, breaker of mountains, Thor. And from the heart of Greece, the son of Zeus, the slayer of beasts, the conqueror of death, Hercules. Both claimed unmatched strength. Both faced trials no mortal could endure. But whose story of might stands taller? That you will decide.
They say strength can be proven in contests and games. But my strength was tested in a way no mortal man should ever endure. I was set 12 labors, each more impossible than the last. If I failed, my honor, my soul, would be lost. And so I stood, Hercules, son of Zeus, against trials that broke kings and terrified the world. The first was the Nemean Lion. It prowled the hills of Greece, a beast larger than any man, its roar shaking the valleys. The people had tried arrows, blades, fire, but nothing pierced its hide. I too loosed arrows, only to watch them shatter like twigs. So I cast aside my bow. If the beast could not be wounded, it would be crushed. It lunged at me, fangs like daggers, claws tearing stone from the earth. We wrestled in dust and blood, its breath hot against my face. I locked my arms around its neck, every muscle straining, until the world itself seemed to crack. Slowly, its roar died in my grasp. The unbreakable beast lay broken in my arms. From its skin, I made my cloak, proof that no monster could stand before me. Then came the Hydra. 9 heads hissing from a swamp of poison, its breath thick with death. Strike one head down, and 2 more rose in its place. I battled through the muck, each step sinking, each breath searing my lungs. Its necks whipped like serpents of iron, snapping at me from every side. But I would not yield. With firebrand and steel, I burned the stumps as I struck, searing the flesh so no head could rise again. Smoke choked the sky, flames lit the swamp, until at last the Hydra's final scream faded. Its blood was venom, its breath was death, yet I stood victorious. Not all my labors were of fang and claw. Some tested endurance, cunning, patience. I chased the golden-horned hind across mountains, a beast swift as the wind. For a year I pursued it, never sleeping, never relenting, until at last I held it in my grasp. I turned my arrows on the man-eating Stymphalian birds, their wings like bronze blades cutting the air. I faced rivers of filth in King Augeas's stables, muck piled high for decades. With wit as much as muscle, I split rivers and washed the filth away in a single day. Each task was different, but each demanded the same, that I be unyielding. And then, the darkest of my trials, the 12th labor, to descend into the underworld itself and bring back Cerberus, the hound of Hades. I passed through gates of shadow where no light dared to follow. Chains clattered in the dark, spirits wailed from every corner, and there he stood, Cerberus, 3 heads, each dripping with venom and fury, eyes burning like coals. His growl shook the caverns, one voice splitting into 3, echoing from every wall. I carried no sword, no shield, only my strength. I lunged forward, seized his necks, all 3 thrashing, fangs snapping at my flesh. He writhed like an earthquake, but I held firm. Chains rattled, earth split, the beast roared in fury, and I dragged him, inch by inch, from the darkness into the light above. The dead themselves could not stop me. Not Hades, not his hound, not the weight of the underworld. So my labors ended. The lion slain, the Hydra burned, the rivers turned, the underworld defied. I was scarred, battered, humbled, but unbroken. Strength is not only in the arm that wields the sword. It is in the heart that does not yield, the will that does not bow, the courage to face even death itself. I am Hercules, and no trial of gods or men has ever bested me.
So the labors of Hercules ended, the lion slain, the Hydra burned, even the underworld defied. But far to the north, where storms rage and giants scheme, another tale of strength awaited. Thor, son of Odin, would step into Utgard Loki's hall, and face trials no hammer could shatter.
It was Loki who first spoke of the hall of Utgard Loki. He told me no man, no god, had ever left it with honor intact. Every challenger was tested, and every challenger was broken. They say the frost giants love nothing more than to humble those who think themselves mighty. But to me, it sounded like a game of strength. And if strength was the measure, then who in all the 9 realms could stand above Thor, son of Odin? I would go. I would show them that Asgard's thunder is beyond all measure. When we entered the hall, the giants mocked and whispered. Utgard Loki, their king, sat upon his throne with eyes like ice. If you would dine in my hall, he said loud, you must first prove yourself. I laughed. Name your trial, my hammer, and my strength will answer. They brought forth a drinking horn, long and curved, carved with runes. Drink it empty, if you can, they said. I gripped it and raised it high. The mead was heavy and thick, but I drank. Oh, I drank. The giants leaned forward, grinning, waiting for me to falter. I drank again, deep, until my lungs burned and my belly roared. But no matter how I swallowed, the horn was never empty. A third time I tried, veins bulging in my neck, the hall echoing with their laughter. Yet still the mead remained. I slammed the horn down and spat foam from my lips. The giants roared with mockery, but later they told me the truth. The end of that horn reached far beyond the hall, into the very sea. Each swallow I took pulled down the ocean itself. And though I did not drain it, the tides fell that day because of me. A mortal would not have lowered it by a single drop. But I, Thor, had drunk from the world's edge. Then came the next trial. They led forth a cat, small compared to me, tail curling lazily in the torchlight. Lift it, they sneered. Surely Asgard's strongest can raise a house cat. I bent my back, slid my hands beneath its belly and heaved. My shoulders cracked, the floor groaned. The cat arched its back, hissing, claws scraping against the stone. The hall shook as I strained, and at last I raised one paw clear from the ground. The giants exploded with laughter, pointing and mocking. Is that all? They cried. A paw. But later, I was told what I had faced. That was no cat. It was Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, coiled around the entire world, enemy of gods and men. Even to lift a paw from the earth was to shake the roots of creation itself. And when the giants saw it, their smiles faltered, for they knew what power I had contended with. At last, they brought me a final challenge. From the shadows shuffled an old woman, bent and wrinkled, her eyes dull with age. Wrestle her, Utgard Loki said, his voice dripping with scorn. The hall erupted with laughter before I even stepped forward. I smirked. Was this the best they could muster? A frail crone, her hands trembling, her back hunched. I took her arms, prepared to end this farce in a heartbeat. But as we struggled, something strange overcame me. Her grip tightened like iron bands. My arms grew heavy. My breath came short. The harder I fought, the weaker I felt. And then, to my shame, my knees struck the floor. The hall thundered with laughter once more, giants pounding their fists against the tables, tears of mockery streaming down their faces. But when the truth was told, silence fell. That was no woman. She was Elli, old age itself. And not even Thor, son of Odin, can defeat the slow, merciless weight of time. That I stood against her at all, that I wrestled her until my knee alone bent. That was more than any being could claim. So the giants laughed, thinking me beaten. But outside, the storm raged with my fury. Thunder cracked, lightning split the skies, the winds tore at their mountains. And though they mocked me, in their eyes disguised with mockery, I saw something else. Fear, for I had drunk from the sea and lowered its tides. I had lifted the serpent that encircles the world. I had wrestled with time itself and stood longer than any god or man. I am Thor of Asgard. And let the giants remember what they witnessed that night.
2 champions. One who drank from the sea itself, lifted the serpent that encircles the world, and wrestled with time. Another who broke the lion, burned the Hydra, and dragged the hound of Hades into the light. Thor, Hercules, god and demigod, thunder and muscle. Whose tale struck you with greater force? Whose strength was true? Leave your judgment in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. And prepare yourselves. For on the next Mythology Godcast, new legends will rise.